these guys have been working hard. They've been in the weight room, they've been out running, and so to start back in football and getting out there and throwing the ball around, working on technique, getting back into the drills, just playing in general. It was time. And I think that's why the schedule is what it is. These guys get a chance to build their bodies, get healthy for the most part, going into spring, and the chance to go back and try to hone your craft and get better and work on the things from last season. What did you learn? What do you got to get better at? Well, there's a number of things. It's not just one specific. But there's a number of things each position has they need to work on. As a group, we're trying to create habits. Always this time of year, we're creating habits. They're going to carry over into the summer that they're going to work on by themselves when they go out there and practice. And then into fall camp, where do these habits take us? Ultimately, hopefully it takes us into being a much better football team than we were last year. And this finish component, as you look at the season, that we can carry those habits into a season where we finish, and we finish it the right way, the way we want to.
Probably strange having Scooter not be out there, but what's your plan kind of going forward with that position?
Yeah, it certainly is. And Scott was here. I missed him. I was doing the clinic in San Diego, and so he when he came and spoke to the team. But a guy that's been a Bronco for a long, long time and has given a lot to this program. So, yeah, when he's not out there, it's one of your buddies, obviously a guy you coach with. Nate Potter and Chris Ross, both those guys have stepped up. They've done a great job. They're meeting with the guys. And even our veterans, the ones that are hurt. Mason Hampton's out, Garrett Larson's out there, John Molchon's out there, Archie Lewis is out there. They're coaching. Those guys understand it. I think if, nothing against our coaches, but if we didn't have them, they could go out there and get it done as well. They're focused, and I think they're into it, helping each other out. So certainly miss Scooter being out there, but our plan moving forward, we're going to interview guys. We're going to be talking to coaches. There's a lot of interest in that position from the O-line coaches out there, and hopefully we have somebody in place soon. What that time frame is, I don't know exactly that at this point. It's got to be the right fit, the right guy. But I'll tell you this, I'm not in a tremendous hurry because of the guys we have here on staff and the way the coaches have rallied around that group, even the defensive coaches, to keep those guys' morale up. Hey, we're ready to roll. And to be honest with you, it's probably good timing for us that we're out there on the field now. Football is happening. These guys are getting a chance to go out there and actually compete and play. Now we just got to figure out who that next guy is and who comes here and fits best and can help us get better.
What's the main adjustment without having him on your staff?
Pardon me?
What's the main adjustment without having him on your staff?
Well, you're talking about a lot of experience. Here's a guy that over the years now, and he's been in this offense for a long time. So coaching it each and every time it comes around to a spring ball or a fall camp, there's a lot of knowledge in that room. There's a lot of detail. There's a lot of history of things that he and I went through, or when he was here as the tight end coach or the O-line coach, whatever it was. So you lose some of that experience. You lose, too, a guy that's been here that's given so much, and I think our coaches have done a great job. Football is like life. We talk about it all the time. When you go out there and you play, all right, sometimes, hey, the game's going on, you get injured, all right, somebody comes out there and, hey, it's tough, but what do? They pull you off the field, the next guy goes in, and the game resumes. That's really how it is. That's a lot like life. So he's no longer with us. We got two other guys that are in that room. We got an O-line room that's ready to go out there and work, and the game goes on. And so, our focus is the things we had to talk about or get better at today, the things we talked about, finishing, our technique, the habits we're creating. That was the main focus, and I thought our guys did a great job. I thought the energy was really good. Everybody was excited to get back out there, and it's exactly what we needed for the first day of practice.
There's kind of a couple, the last time we talked to kind of along with the guys that you didn't anticipate playing this spring, but got a chance to catch up with Alexander Madison a couple weeks ago, and he said that he felt like he was a little bit ahead of the curve. I don't know if there's an update on any of those guys or anticipate seeing any of them this spring?
Yeah, he's ahead of the curve, but he's not going to be practicing, and that's a good thing. I think the mentality, you want every single guy to not be like, yeah, I'm a little behind. You want him to be like, yeah, I feel good, I could go out there. Julian Carter's out there. He had surgery during the season, shoulder surgery. He's got a yellow jersey on right now, no contact, but he was out there and went and laid out for a ball and caught it. And so popped right back up, and everybody's kind of waiting for that moment. Is he going to lay there, and all of a sudden, boom, he's right up. Wasn't even thinking about it, runs right back, gets the ball back, and is ready to go on the next play. So I think every one of those injured guys, when this time comes around, they all want to get out there and go practice. It's our job to be smart, make sure that we get them a few reps, get them a few things they can do. But we're also preparing for summer and getting these guys ready for the season. And if they're ahead of schedule, great. If they can do a little bit more than anticipated, even better. And then we have to just be the judges of how much that is.
You look at the offense, today, probably what it was compared to in the bowl game, and you got like Brett Rippon and maybe Jake Rowe out there as the starters. Outside of that, it's a lot of newness.
Yeah, a lot of new faces out there, which at this time of year is really good. You're hoping as you get into summer and you get into the season or fall camp, you're going to have a full squad, guys that haven't played much, got more experience through spring practice, and you've got more depth. The one thing we've seen, right, is even that third string guy becomes really, really important. And it's like that, they're playing. And so we've got to be 3 deep. We've got to be 3 deep with guys that can play. And that gives us a chance to go out there and we have depth on the football team. We have competition on the football team. And now we can use guys in roles on offense, defense, special teams, and feel good about their backup coming in there and spelling that guy at times and not losing anything when we do that. And so Brett's a great leader. Jake Rowe's a great leader. And those guys are going to help the young ones out and get them going. And they understand the standard. And those two guys right there are going to set it.
I asked Brett about maybe where he, looking back at last season, the areas he can address to improve the most. He mentioned confidence, and I know that's kind of a mental thing, but how can you work on that here in the spring? I don't know if you go see a sports psychologist or what, but how do you work on that?
Well, I think it comes with your expectations. I really do. I think it comes with maturity. A lot of ways. As you become a better player and you become a more elite player, and I think Brett is one of those guys, like in anything in life, right, the better you get at it, the more you realize how much you don't know and how much you have to spend time on learning certain things so you can really have a great feel when you go out there. I think that's where really good players start to get, especially as they get older, is like, wow, I got a whole lot I need to keep learning. Confidence comes from that. And I don't see Brett as a guy that has shaken confidence at all. I think he's a guy that understands that there's going to be a lot of different scenarios going to be put in, and to really just be calm, do his job, and he knows he's capable of doing, and doing that more consistently. And to me, that comes from, I think where he's thinking right now, that's got to come from my preparation. It's got to come from, me bringing guys along too that are going to be out there playing. Some of these young wide receivers, they have to develop, they have to do their jobs. The O-line has to do it. And so that leadership component, along with that experience, I think that's where he gets that. All right, you know what? You got to grow confidence. Well, that's going to be a lot of work to do that between now and when we start. But he's always had it. I love his demeanor. I think he's got fantastic demeanor on the sideline, and I think that's something that he's developing. I know with Coach Hill is developing as we move forward, and even on the offensive side as well.
With Coach Huff